And hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Box Office Shuffle. Today, we're talking about a Billy Crystal classic from 1991. We're talking City Slickers. I'm one of your hosts, Thomas, aka Mr. Warburg. Joining me, as always, is Gamma, aka Chris.
Yo, West
Doing,
Side.
doing him backwards today because this is a film from his collection. We watched the DVD from him, and then we are sitting down to talk about it a few days later. And last but certainly not least is Joe, aka Joe.
What up?
So obviously our last episode, we talked Little Giants in the run-up to the Super Bowl, which turned out to be a laugher. I called my Cooper DeJean pick six, but I wish I'd bet on it. I wish I'd put my money where my mouth is, but I was very happy that happened. Me and Joey went to see the new Captain America last night. I got a new movie for the collection. I got the Constantine 4K I'm excited to crack open today. And of course, this week, we're watching what we ran from the Shuffler last week's episode, or last 2 weeks' episode. We're watching City Slickers. We did that on Thursday. We're recording this Sunday. I believe today's the 16th. So a few days later, just because we happened to get to it pretty late in the day on Thursday. So from...
Not my fault.
Definitely not Chris's fault at all. Definitely wasn't doing a all-day Arkham Asylum try to 100%
Definitely
the game.
did overestimate my skills.
Definitely did not happen. And definitely the greatest video game boss fight ending of all time.
Sure.
Oh, for sure. No flaws to it. But City Slickers released on June 7th, 1991. Obviously, as I mentioned, we're watching this from Chris's collection on the DVD. It was directed by Ron Underwood, written by Lowell Gans, and I think you say Babalu Mandel. I think that's how you say the first name. Starring Billy Crystal. That's the main lead of the movie as the big draw. Daniel Stern, Bruno Kirby, Helen Slater, Patricia Wedding, and Jack Palance. And then obviously there were some other, bit parts and things, as well as some debut actors. But I'm going to turn the rest of that over to Chris, since this is from his collection. He did a little bit of a deep dive on this one. So Chris, what do you got for us?
First off, writers Lowell Gans and Babalu Mandel. You can also throw in, he was not credited, but Billy Crystal did also help write this movie. He just decided not to have a credit on it. From what I was reading about this movie, Billy Crystal seems like a pretty stand-up dude. Like, he got a lot of his friends in here, or he got, like, after this movie, he worked with other people again. But we'll get back to Billy. Ron Underwood, the director, he did this movie right after his other, probably biggest movie that he did, which was Tremors. He's been a director for, I believe, since the 70s is what I saw. But this was kind of in his run of the better, like, movie run, and then he transitioned back to television. So he did Tremors, he did City Slickers, and then I don't know if you guys remember this. I remember it. I think it was Charlize Theron and I can't remember the guy's name, but Mighty Joe Young.
That was in my notes.
The big gorilla movie.
Shit. Yeah.
Like, I was looking through Ron Underwood's rap sheet and I was like, oh man, Mighty Joe Young. I have not thought of that movie for probably a decade, maybe two. But now that I've read it, I want to go see that movie again. I want to figure out where I can watch it, because I don't remember anything about that movie other than Big Gorilla.
I want to quick jump in on the Ron Underwood, because I saw this. I was like, oh, I brought this up on like 4 episodes. He directed 2 episodes of Monk.
I was about to bring
Monk
that up.
connection.
He's directed Monk. He's directed something that Wartburg got me into, a couple episodes of Castle.
He did Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 3.
Yes,
he did 3 episodes.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
A surprising amount of Once Upon a Time. Like a lot of episodes.
So like it looks like after Mighty Joe Young, like he kind of directed, I won't say that they're like lower tier movies, but like nothing that's like you say it and the name jumps out to you as something. But he's done a lot of TV ever since. He did some episode of Heroes, of course, Monk, like we said, Castle, Burn Notice, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So he's done Grey's Anatomy. He's done a lot of TV since then, since the 90s. gosh, the new Magnum PI, Hawaii Five-0. So he's still active. He's got one upcoming thing, director of Watson, which actually I saw some stuff,
So
some
it's coming
trailers
to
for that recently, and it
new
looks
thing on CBS.
Really good.
Yeah, it looks interesting. But yeah, going back to the stars, we all know Daniel Stern from probably his most famous role, Home Alone. One of the most iconic screams in all of movies. Tarantula on his face. Bruno Kirby, which I actually don't know Bruno Kirby from anything else. Gosh, I just saw Bruno Kirby for the first time without a mustache, and I thought it was Edward Norton. But like I don't know if I've seen anything else that Bruno Kirby has been in. I don't know about you guys, but like when Fusion was like, oh, that's got Bruno Kirby in it when we were talking about we're playing City Slickers next. Now it's like, I don't know who that is. Oh, apparently he was in The Godfather Part 2.
Ayo.
City Slickers is a better Bruno Kirby movie.
Before we get too far, I was going to note on Daniel Stern, he also directed a Rookie of the Year, which is a 90s baseball movie.
Oh, he was in that one too.
Yeah, he's
right?
also in it. Yeah, he directed and starred in it.
And then of course he's got Billy Crystal, who we all know as Mike Wazowski. You could know him as Miracle Max from in Princess Bride. Billy Crystal. He's a classic in my opinion. I love Billy Crystal. I think he's hilarious. And finally, we can jump into the awards section because this movie in 1991 won an Academy Award.
It did.
Joey, did you know that?
Shit. No? You just hit me
What
with
do
a
you
frying
think?
pan.
What do you think this movie won an Academy Award for?
Best supporting actors. I have no clue.
You're very close.
That is pretty accurate. Jack Palance, the guy who played Curly, the old cowboy, won
cowboy?
Best Supporting Actor.
Oh,
And when he came out, I was talking to my parents about this just before we started recording. And my mom was like, "Oh, I remember watching that Academy Awards. Jack Palance walked out onto the stage, and to show that he was still strong enough, did one arm push-ups on the stage at the Academy Awards." Like that was a different time for the Academy Awards. I feel like nowadays, like, you don't get a whole lot of like the actual popular movies. At least for supporting roles, best roles, or best movie. But back in the 90s, like, this was the same year that Silence of the Lamb was winning awards.
Yeah, like, this was nominated for Best Picture at the Golden Globes.
Was it really?
Yeah,
I didn't know
win.
that.
And Crystal was nominated for Best Actor, but did not win. Palance also won the Golden Globe for that as well. Same thing, supporting actor, on top of the Academy Awards.
Yeah. So, like, it's crazy to think back to a day where comedies and horror films were getting these kinds of nods. Where I think the most recent one that, like, is a comedy or horror genre was, like, Get Out or something that made it that high in the Academy Awards. I can't think of anything else recently.
Big. I know there was a big kerfuffle with The Martian, I think, was classified as a comedy for Best Comedy. Yeah, I think that got nominated for that. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's got some really funny moments in it.
Right.
But I don't know if I'd classify that as a comedy by any stretch.
No.
It's just a well-told story that has funny moments.
But yeah, I mean, like, I never would have
and it was actually
even thought that this was.
It was Palance's third time being nominated for Best Supporting, but his first time winning.
Really?
Because he went 40 years between nominations, more or less.
Holy shit.
And I have a note for this. I didn't know, did you have the note that what he was last nominated for, 1954's Shane, was the first movie Billy Crystal watched. So
that I did notice.
And
I did see
he plays
that.
the bad guy or one of the bad guys, I think, in Shane, and he dies at the end in a shootout. and that was the first movie Crystal said he watched in his memoir. And he's like, I immediately we were going to cast Jack Palance in this role. He had to do it. But due to a scheduling conflict, they actually went to Charles Bronson first because he was big in the 80s as well. And he like very rudely, I guess, turned them down, according to his memoir. So then they found time in the schedule to shoot things later with Palance to have him in the movie. And because Palance had a big resurgence in the 80s because he hosted Ripley's Believe It or Not. But he kind of fell off after the 50s and early 60s when Hollywood kind of moved away from doing those old school spaghetti westerns. And he's got a very interesting, Wikipedia page on like how he, I believe he was in World War II. Yeah, he was enlisted in the Air Force. He was a bomber pilot. Got in a plane crash. He played football at University of North Carolina, but then left due to the monetization of the sport in the back then, which has some very interesting parallels today with the NIL stuff. And he actually changed his name, which I think he's I can't remember. There was a bit where he changed his name. He went as Walter Palance, Walter Jack Palance. One other name was on his Wikipedia page is listed as Jack Brazo. That's an interesting name.
This is an interesting dude.
Yeah, he was in a whole bunch of stuff in the 40s and in the 50s and very late 1940s, and then kind of fell off a bit. Had his big resurgence, in the 80s, and then got cast in this and won an Academy Award.
Mm-hmm. What? I'm just looking through the movies that came out in 1991. It was kind of a stacked year, and this still won. Holy shit.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking Hook came out, Robin Hood and Thieves, Beauty and the Beast, Point Break, Silence of the Lambs, like we already said, then Terminator 2, Judgment Day, and then I'm like, what the heck? And this one's okay.
Judgment Day fucking rules too. God damn, that movie's perfect.
Oh,
that's a 10 out of 10. But did you say Helen Slater in the cast?
I did not say Helen Slater yet, no.
That's who I had. That was my other note as well. She was mostly well known as Supergirl at the time. She was in 1984 Supergirl. Also was in a few other movies. But I actually did not know she voiced Talia al Ghul in Batman the Animated Series. I knew she showed up in Smallville. She showed up in Smallville as his mom, as Clark's mom, Laura L. As well as in the Supergirl show, because she's been around a bunch of the Superman, character productions. But I did not know she voiced Talia in Batman the Animated Series. Excellent character in that show. The few times we see her. Didn't know that.
Another the first time film actor Jake Gyllenhaal in this film played Billy Crystal's kid, or one of Billy Crystal's kid. The other one was actually played by Billy Crystal's actual daughter.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So, yeah.
I had one somber note, which was that Daniel Stern plays Phil. That role was originally going to go to Rick Moranis. Daniel Stern was actually a late replacement because Rick Moranis, that was when he first started kind of getting away from, not retiring from acting, but taking far less roles, because that was around the time his wife was diagnosed with cancer.
Yep.
So that's why he started, kind of drifting away from doing as much movies as he did, because he became a single father.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That is accurate. Which kind of nice segue from Little Giants into this little Rick Moranis.
That would actually be, I think, his next movie after he was supposed to be in this.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
And he didn't do anything for a few years, and then came back for Little Giants, which did not do well. Which kind of sucks. It's a box office, because this one did gangbusters. I don't know if I got there. On a budget of 26, it made $179 million.
Yeah.
Which is a significant return on that amount of money, especially for the 90s. And especially for a comedy, did very, very well. Which is why
it now makes sense as to why they got a sequel. Yeah.
That did not do as well.
No. It's got some funny bits in it, but I personally like City Slickers.
So it does have another returning actor. It does have John Lovitz in that one. I believe he replaced Bruno Kirby. I just kind of vaguely went through the Wikipedia on
Bruno
that.
Kirby came back for it.
Or did he replace Daniel Stern? No, Daniel Stern.
Daniel
Lovitz.
Stern's definitely in it.
Yeah, John Lovitz is the star. So, yeah.
That I didn't remember that. I haven't seen City Slickers 2 in a long time.
Oh, apparently Bruno Kirby did not return because he was highly allergic to horses.
Yes, that is something that I was gonna bring up. He was so allergic to horses that he had to take like allergen shots every single day before filming.
Jesus.
God, that's insane. Why would you do that to yourself?
Why would? Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't get me wrong. Great movie. I'm sure the paycheck was pretty good. You know, if assuming he got based on, you know, how well it did. Damn.
Mhm.
I just, oof. It's a lot to put yourself through for every day for shoots and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Fuck.
Makes
This is
you
a
think
comedy.
that the whole best day, worst day theme scene that happened, maybe he should have just said, you know, working on this film and working with horses every single day. Speaking of that scene, though, Billy Crystal, when he talks about his best day, which is, if you haven't seen the movie, first of all, go watch it and then come back and finish this episode. But if you don't care, or you just want a reminder, the best day scene, Billy Crystal talks about going to a game with his dad, his first game, and that was all a true story. That was Billy Crystal's true story. When he says he still has the program, like in real life, he still has the program, and it is signed by Mickey Mantle twice. Once on the day that he went to that baseball game, that first ever baseball game, and the second time 20 years later when they were on a talk show together.
Oh shit.
So like,
Yeah.
I think that that's pretty cool.
If anyone
Yeah.
needs a reminder, Billy Crystal loves baseball.
And if you want to know, he's a diehard Yankees fan, but in the movie he wears a Mets hat
That's sad. Oh,
because the Mets made a very charitable donation to to something that he was, I think it was comic relief for Billy Crystal. So he was like, I will 100% wear this hat to
So he's not a Ben Affleck.
say thank you to these guys. Right. Yeah.
Because was it the town he was supposed to wear a Yankees hat, but he
That
just
would make
like
sense.
refused. And he's like, if you're gonna make me wear a fucking baseball hat, I'm wearing a Red Sox hat. Like,
Yeah.
just will not ever do it.
Mm-hmm.
He might for a Dunkin' commercial now or something now. But
Who knows? Couple of other fun facts. There is a birthing scene of a cow in this movie. Now, the birth that you see on screen is just Billy Crystal pulling a dummy out of a dummy, a calf doll out of a cow prosthetic or whatever. But they did have 3 pregnant cows on set. Billy Crystal did help birth a cow in real life, and the shot of Norman standing up and walking for the first time is the actual time that Norman stood up for the first time in real life,
shit.
because
Okay.
that was actually after he was just birthed. So yeah, I was like, man, that seems a little bit too accurate of how they like got all that stuff on Norman, but I mean, it was real life. Another fun fact, Billy Crystal, much like Viggo Mortensen in Lord of the Rings, Billy Crystal liked his horse so much that he bought it afterwards. And it's the same horse that he used in Slickers 2.
Oh shit.
He brought it back for City Slickers 2. So, and also, every single calf, they had a bunch of calves to play Norman. Every calf that they had for that, Billy Crystal bought and made sure lived a full life.
they didn't
On a-
get
on a
sold
ranch somewhere.
to a slaughterhouse.
Right.
What?
Unlike every other cow in that movie, more than likely.
Oh
Just
yeah.
lived a gorgeous life, just eating. Damn.
Kraft Foods wasn't even on for this for this movie. They just took a
That
cow.
was their pay. Hey, you're gonna get like a quarter cow, you know?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
take home. There's your week's pay. I mean, in today's prices, that'd probably be worth it.
That would.
You would definitely
Damn
get me to go
close.
work on a movie for a week. I'm like, hey, we're gonna pay you in beef.
I'd be like,
His
Yeah.
prices are
Sign
nuts
me
right
up.
now. Shit, a pound is like what, $5.50? It's like, damn, dude.
mm,
Yeah.
A couple years ago, it was like $2.50, maybe $3. Crazy.
No, cattle prices are just astronomical
See,
right now.
this is why I
It's
told my
weird 'cause,
dad
like,
we have the room. We should have put up a chicken coop when wood was cheap, and
Yeah.
we'd be making probably making money on selling eggs if we had scaled up.
Oh, for sure.
well, it's weird because like we've got an influx eggs in our town. I haven't paid for eggs.
Okay,
People are
we
like,
got
"Hey,
all the
these
chicken
are-
ladies.
These are dirty. I don't want to clean them. Please take them." I'm like, okay, here's a free dozen. I'm like, let's go.
Yes.
Ugh,
Everyone in the Midwest, you gotta have an egg lady. You gotta.
you have to.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Unfortunately, our egg lady lives in Baltimore, and we can't really get those eggs.
Yeah.
Can't ship them.
Joey, earlier
You can
said
ship live chicks through
1991.
USPS though. Can't just.
Yeah.
That's how like USPS will deliver chicks.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Joey, earlier you talked about how 1991 had the movie Hook.
Yeah.
The reason that Robin Williams could not be in this movie, he was considered for any of the main roles, Mitch Robbins, Phil Berquist, or Ed Ferrillo. But he was committed to Hook, so he could not be in this movie.
I'm just imagining a timeline where Hook doesn't happen because he's in City Slickers.
Could you?
Whoa.
Okay, imagine this.
What?
Flip Billy Crystal and Robin
That's what
Williams.
I was thinking. I was like, he becomes the main. I'm like,
I don't
this
know if
movie
he
might
could
hit a
have
little-
been mean enough.
Oh, I don't think Billy Crystal. I think it's just fun to think about, but
Yeah.
I don't think
Yeah.
Billy Crystal fits the Peter role.
No,
No.
and like, yeah, I don't think.
I could maybe see
I don't know if Robin
Daniel
Williams
Stern.
could have been like, because you like, there's that bit before he comes back to help his friends. He's kind of a dick.
Yeah.
At some points, like I don't know if Robin Williams could do that to like get us to the point where, you know, Billy Crystal ends up in this
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah,
'Cause up until
That's
that
fair,
point,
but-
he's kind of a sad sack, you know, in his own shit and won't pull his head out of his ass for
Yeah.
basically
Right.
an hour.
For most
But-
of the movie.
but I mean, like maybe they would have written it
No, it probably
more
would have
for
been.
Robin Williams, and it could have been more of like a Mrs. Doubtfire kind of thing, where like he's funny and stuff, but he's able to do those
Oh, yeah.
serious moments.
Yeah.
Yeah. That just hit.
But
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, like
I could see Robin Williams as some of the side characters, like one of the ice cream brothers, or
Oh,
like
yeah.
this. Phil Lewis was the dentist's son. He's been in a bunch of small roles I remember from over the years.
Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah, I know that guy, Phil Lewis.
oh, yeah, it was weird watching this because I was like, man, I know him from things. I can't name a single thing that he was in, but he looks so young in this movie.
This entire conversation brought me back to a plot point in the movie. So Helen Slater, Barney, she has this point about how men can talk about baseball for forever. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, this, and that's what this podcast is. It's just us, like, remember that trope of like, let's remember some guys, you know, like what people do on broadcasts when the game's blown out. They just start talking about random guys from 30 years ago.
Yeah, like
And-
the Super Bowl a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, that's just what this
Yeah.
podcast is all we're
Yeah.
doing is we're going through the list and the tangents and like who did what with who and when and how things didn't come together or did. It's just us talking about the guys, you know?
yeah. This is
Yeah,
just our
it really
baseball.
is. This is our
much.
baseball.
Pretty much. And it's great for that. I love talking about movies like this.
Oh yeah, it's so fun. Like I'm in real life, I'm a very quiet, reserved individual, but if we start talking about video games or movies or something, like I'm there. I'm talking, I'm reminiscing about things. And yeah, I mean, like I think that this movie, just kind of going back to the story and the plot, I think for a
Yeah,
comedy,
we kind of skipped that.
yeah, but I think for the comedy, it does tackle some pretty heavy material, and I do think that it actually does it pretty well. Especially with like the best day scene, like those all feel like real conversations that we would have, which I feel like there's a lot of movies where the conversations seem played up to be like it's a movie, we have to get information to you, blah 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 blah, but like the conversations in this film actually feel like I would hear them at a restaurant at somebody else's table, or like this just seems very realistic of dialogue in this movie. So I don't know what you guys feel about.
So yeah, those themes of like reconnecting as friends, especially aging as friends, definitely hit, I think, pretty well. I think they're all able to pull that together. Like the part where, oh my god, where Daniel Stern and Billy Crystal, they're like just shooting the shit about a thing just to annoy the other friend. He's like, "That's it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna kill you."
Yeah,
yeah. You buy those guys are friends.
Yep. 100%.
Like they've known each other an incredibly long time.
That's like how the three of us play video games.
Oh yeah,
honestly.
it's like, oh, we're playing Halo Lasso. Don't you fucking dare, Joey.
I'm immediately
There.
sighting my gun into headshot someone on my team. I'm like, okay.
Yep.
And foul.
Yep. That's what it is sometimes.
Yeah.
Oh,
But then it gets really deep. Like there's the whole scene of the two guys that have to take over after Curly dies, and the gun, and they're playing around with a gun, and then Billy Crystal has to go up and try and stop them, and then freaking Phil comes in and he's holding a gun to a guy's head because he's reminiscing about how much he doesn't like bullies.
no.
And then he goes into a tent and his buddies come in after him and they're just like, we're taking a beat. We've been joking this entire time. Hold on. We're not joking anymore. We're taking this seriously. You're our friend. We want to take care of you. And it's like, that's how real life is sometimes. You go from joking about something to, it's a serious situation. Let's work through it. We're here for you kind of thing. So, like, I liked how it was a comedy, but it had a lot of themes that are close to home for many people.
Yep. And I imagine that's part of the reason they did so well, because it actually had an emotional through line that resonated pretty well.
Yeah.
On top of some genuinely pretty funny scenes and sequences.
Mm-hmm.
So if we had to give this kind of a group score, what are we going to go through? I'm going to pull up my Letterboxd. Because this season, just as a reminder, everyone, we're trying to keep a little better like track record of like what did we think of things as we go. Not that we're doing full on reviews, but just trying to keep track of films that we've watched throughout the run. Like me personally, I gave this a 3 out of 5, but with a like a good version of that. There's 3 out of 5s that are not enjoyable.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's 3 out of 5s that they have a story that's just not fun, but like you can tell by the filmmaking that it's like a really good movie. So you got to give it a 3 out of 5. But like there's it's not the best movie, but it's fun to watch and I'll do it. I would probably give this like a 3.5 out of 5.
I think it's gonna be kind of a clean sleep. Yeah, 3.5.
Would you go 3.5?
What was your Little Giants? Was your
Giants.
Little Giants 3.5? I think.
Yeah, I'd put this.
So
like
would you rather watch this or Little Giants?
Probably this. So I'd give that a 3.5 above.
All right,
Little
so that means
Giants.
because of rounding up, we'll go with the average letter will be 3.5 with the like
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
on Letterboxd. Okay.
Yeah.
Average is 3.5 out of 5. Excellent. So, anything else we want to talk shop with on this one for cast, crew, stories, plot, anything like that?
I just want to know, would you guys, because this is my collection, would you guys buy this movie? Would you want this in your collection, or is it just kind of like I'll watch it on TV, or if we're doing another movie night?
I think I'd purchase this one to have in the collection. It's nice, just like if I put my server on randomizer and this came up, I'd be happy. So,
It's fair. This would be if I see it in good condition at like a secondhand movie.
Like a $3 bargain bin kind of thing.
If I saw it for that price, or if I like maybe like, because every now and then you'll find like Dollar General, dollar stores, they'll have like really old DVD and Blu-ray presses of things still just floating around from warehouses. If I see it in that kind of range, I'd buy it. I wouldn't go out of my way to like own the digital version of it. But if I
Right.
saw
You're
the
not going to
physical-
go. You're not going to go onto a movie site and be like, "Oh, is there going to be a 4K of this? Anything?"
Yeah. It's no Constantine.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that tracks. Yeah. So
Cool.
we got to talk about our next movie then, because if you don't know, if you're this far into the podcast, and I should have said this at the beginning, we take our physical media collections, put them in a shuffler, and then that's what we're going to watch for the next episode. Before we do that, we need to decide who's going to actually be the shuffler host for this next episode. It's between me and Joe, because this week, as aforementioned multiple times, was Chris. So let's spin the wheel. The wheel be spinning.
God, I hope it's not Godfather 2.
It looks like it's gonna be. Oh, okay. It's just mine. It's like literally a pixel left before going to Joe's. All right, so let me open up my list.
I'm like oddly nervous about being drawn because I've got some stinkers.
Yes, you do. I
Could you imagine if it's Constantine right now?
God, if
Oh,
we
dude, that'd be
pull
so great.
Constantine, I'd be very happy. Because
That'd be
I didn't
crazy.
even own it until last fall. My sister found it at a thrift store in good
Ooh.
condition. I had checked the disc, everything's fine. And then I'm like, wait a minute, they're making a 4K remaster? Fuck. Need to own that. So I bought that. All right, let's spin this wheel. All 219 entries of mine, which is a lot more movies because some of them are condensed as by franchise.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we're doing a World War II movie from Bruce Willis.
1912?
No. Hart's War, which is a POW movie.
Oh.
I own it on DVD.
I don't know this. I don't know if
seen
I've
this.
ever heard of this movie.
Let me pull it up. I'm going to leave us on the Hart's War. So, Hart's War came out in 2002. It's based on a book. Yeah, oh dang, the images aren't pulling up. Yeah, it was directed. It was shot in Prague. Did not do well at all. It was a massive bomb.
This is gonna be great, guys.
Yeah, it stars Bruce Willis, Colin Farrell. Those are the two leads I remember
Ooh.
from the poster. And I have the DVD because I think my parents had it. Yeah, and it's during the Battle of the Bulge. Some guys get captured by World War II. Farrell plays the new, if I remember right, the new POW that comes into the camp, which is basically being run on the U.S. like the troop side by Bruce Willis.
Okay.
I think it's Hart is his last name.
And I'm assuming this is a drama.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
not a comedy. We're shifting gears.
It's not
completely.
like a MASH kind of
No.
war thing. It's okay.
This is definitely
It'll be
a
interesting.
World War II
Yeah.
drama.
Okay.
I have not seen it since my parents probably got the DVD way back in the day, like probably
All
from
right.
2003.
This will be fun.
So I don't even know if the DVD is playable because I'm sure it's all scratched to hell. And well, that might be the first time we have to see what we do if the movie is not actually playable. We'll see what happens.
Yeah,
If we do, we'll call it audible and we'll run the shuffler again, and I'll just pull it off the list.
There's a
Yeah.
disc refurbisher up in
I'm not going to pay that for this disc.
It's like $1.
Not for
Oh,
this
true.
thing.
I'll put it in the I would fix it because if I'm going to give it away, I'd rather
Yeah.
give it through a refurbisher if I'm going to just
Yeah.
give it away.
That should be our new rating system. If you owned it, would you have it refurbished or not? Would you pay money to refurbish
you
this,
pay
or would you
cash?
just spit shine it, or would you just throw it away?
Do you guys ever have like, oh god, remember like toothpaste would fix scuff marks on your?
Oh my goodness!
I've
all
fucked
those
up
crazy-
so many fucking PlayStation games trying to use that. God damn.
I'd never heard that at all. That's
Oh yeah, I was just like, oh, my Digimon World 3 won't work. Let's try to run
Oh,
toothpaste
God, I
on
remember
it.
that game.
Now
Holy
fucking
shit.
don't work. God.
damn, that's a throwback. And I'm wearing my
Dude.
PlayStation shirt.
Yeah,
Damn.
baby.
That reminds me of Yu-Gi-Oh! Was it Forbidden Memories? That was the PlayStation, the dual disc one.
Yeah,
Had two
Yep.
discs.
Ooh.
Yeah.
and that was the one.
And I could never figure out how to play it.
Well, it was so
just-
weird because like
All over my head. Never got
You-
past the first level, I don't think.
Like
had
you
to,
didn't
like-
understand the card game.
No, the mechanics of like the game, like how to progress.
Oh,
They didn't
yeah,
follow
gotcha.
the game, really. Like,
because
Right.
you could like randomly fuse creatures together to get a more powerful creature.
yeah, it didn't
critter
make
and
sense.
stuff like that.
Polymorph.
Like, it just-
Yeah, it didn't
Everything was
exist, though.
polymorphable though.
Or
Yeah, everything
polymerization,
was.
yeah.
It was weird.
Yeah.
It was a very weird game.
It was. It's
Dude, I
It's one I
loved
haven't
Yu-Gi-Oh until they brought in like there's like X and Y cards, and I'm like,
Yep. I got up through
no.
the God cards. Like
Yes.
that arc of the show, and then I was out.
That's also where just the show just died for me.
Agreed.
Once Merrick was defeated, that's the end of the show.
Yep.
For me, I have played competitively for a while, but like hand traps and pendulum summon, link summons have really kind of
Isn't it
gotten
like
me.
guys, this is a movie podcast.
We're
Joey,
talking about guys
Yu-Gi-Oh.
here. We're talking
Yes.
about guys.
It's baseball time.
There were
baseball
Yu-Gi-Oh
time.
movies.
That's true. Maybe they'll come up at some point.
I
I
don't
do
know.
have some Yu-Gi-Oh movies I
Oh,
have.
God, of course you do.
I fucking do.
Isn't Yu-Gi-Oh nowadays like if you make it to turn 3, that's a long duel now?
Yeah. Because like
Yeah.
you can
It's
essentially,
stupid.
because I think I got to like what gold ranked 1, and at that point in time my deck was basically obsolete because if they have the right combo pieces, they lock up my parts of my board. I can only summon in one spot, and I know they have a trap card. I can't remember what it does, but they'll flip summon it and negate anything in that one square. And I'm like, well, Dragon Maids, we made it this far. We're just fucked.
It's so stupid. I don't understand how people have fun playing a game where you draw one hand and then you have to reshuffle your deck because it's over.
Because you don't have a hand trap and you
That's
can't
why I
stop
like
the
Magic.
combo.
Magic,
Oh,
like,
man.
it's at least 5 turns. It's got to be
Yeah.
5 turns, unless you've got like this crazy expensive.
I've got one deck that can win on turn 2, and it's not that expensive.
Oh, really?
Yeah, turn 2
Well, I hate
mil.
all.
Yeah.
Now
Oh,
we're
you're a
Magic
mill
and
deck? Oh,
Yeah.
you blue motherfucker.
Blue black baby. What's up?
We're really getting into some nerdy shit here, so we should probably start wrapping up. We'll be back in roughly 2 weeks to talk about Hearts of War. To get back on the movie, we're going to be talking about a World War II POW drama. Doesn't that sound fun?
That sounds common for our time frame.
Yeah, definitely no relevance to any concentration camps that may not be being built in Cuba. Definitely not at all. And this was, hey, back when, Bruce Willis maybe was still acting like he gave a shit. Albeit, obviously, lately he's got the medical stuff, but yeah.
Yeah.
Also, Colin Farrell's great. So
Yeah.
I'm excited to watch him.
Yep, should be a good time. We'll get back to you on that, so stay tuned on our social media, which will be linked below if you're on the YouTube version. We're over on Blue Sky, which is Box Office Shuffle. Search for us there. You'll find the show. I think it's actually, what is our handle? I should actually say it.
Box Office Shuffle.
Yeah, it's Box Office Shuffle. Blue Sky.
Or bsky.net.
Yeah, not B Sky. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And then that's the only social media we're really using because Twitter is a Nazi factory run by a Nazi. So not using that. And then, sub, review, leave likes and comments, things that help the algorithm. They are very, very helpful for running a show. And then we'll see you next week. We'll decide what Joey's movie's going to spit out, what his collection is going to give us to consume.
Yu-Gi-Oh!
No, wait, let's actually go through Joey's list here. What do we got? Let's kill some time. We're just over 40 minutes probably for the actual...
Because I got Battle of the Rose.
I was gonna say, hey, Joey's got Tremors. We were talking about Tremors because the
Ooh.
guy
Got all
directed
of
that.
them.
He's got Tremors.
Wait, minus one of them. I can't remember.
Oh, wait. Guys, we haven't done it. Hold on. We gotta find our 6 degrees
Oh, shit.
of Kingpin.
Oh yeah,
We fucking forgot about that.
6 Degrees of Kingpin. Who's
Oh, man. I'm gonna go Billy Crystal.
there's got to be a website for that.
For Kingpin specifically?
No, actor
No,
like an
we have
actor
to-
6 degrees.
Um,
Actor 6 degrees of separation. Like website.
I feel like Billy Crystal has to have been in something that Woody Harrelson's in. Or...
So,
Well, that's right. I forgot about this. Billy Crystal is Calcifer in Howl's Moving Castle. I totally forgot about that.
Dang it! Come on.
Oh, man.
Billy Crystal. Pick the name.
I'm going-
There you go. Okay, there is the oracleofbacon.com or .org.
Oh, really?
Excuse me. Yes.
Oh, checking this out.
Woody Harrelson.
Oh, 'cause
Find
it's sick,
the
yeah.
link. We can get there. Number of 2.
Really?
They were apparently live in front of a studio audience with All in the Family and the Jeffersons with Marissa Tomei. Woody Harrelson was with Marissa Tomei, who was in Parental Guidance with Billy Crystal.
Okay.
So Marissa Tomei is their connection.
Okay.
Who's the other actor in that movie? Who's the Amish guy? Oh, there's also
Randy Quaid.
Randy Quaid.
There's also Bill Murray.
Oh, their number is only 1. They were actually in a movie together, Crystal and Quaid. The Adventures of Rocky and
Yeah,
Bullwinkle.
Saturday Night Live, the 20th. Oh, that's not.
This is films. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, yeah. All right, there you
That's our
go.
six- that's our-
Our
Yeah,
6
there.
degrees of Kingpin.
Down to 1. For some reason, we did that.
Yeah.
All right,
Dude, I'm making it a thing. We're everybody on Blue Sky. Go ahead and find us your favorite movie. 6 degrees of Kingpin. There you go.
Yep,
Hashtag 6 degrees of Kingpin.
definitely. Yep, we'll do that.
It'll catch on.
Oh yeah, it's gonna blow up. It's gonna be huge. Well, next big thing. All right, let's get out of here. See you, everyone.
Bye.